friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tati. I'm an astrologer and I make videos on astrology, self-growth, self-care, self-love. So if that interests you, please continue watching, please subscribe. And in this video, I'm just going to have a casual sit-down video. So go grab some tea, go grab some coffee, let's chat. I wanted to reflect more on my Saturn return since I'm still in it. I'm not in the most intense phase anymore. There's more of this relief. There's more of this sigh of things are getting better, which is great. And I wanted to state that in case it gives anyone hope going through their Saturn return. And I just want to share what I've been learning so far and why I still consider myself in my Saturn return. And that is mainly because Saturn is still in Aquarius and I have my Saturn placement at 2 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. And this is just really interesting for me because I feel as though I'm getting a better sense of understanding my limiting beliefs. I really believe your Saturn return in Aquarius, if it's in an air sign, a lot of it is to do with what is holding you back mentally. Maybe you're overthinking a lot. Maybe a lot of it is a mind game. Maybe a lot of it is just this capacity of overwhelming yourself from not being present in the moment, and also just overthinking everything that you're doing, right? And I wanted to share some tools that have really helped me in this process. I also want to do a mental health check-in because I think that's really, really helpful and important, because I want to know how your mental health is doing. Where are you at? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? Right now, I am currently at, I would say, an 8, which is not bad. It's pretty good. I was at a much lower number during this past Mercury retrograde, which was a lot. It was in the signs of Virgo and Libra. And as a Libra rising myself, because Virgo rules my 12th house, it was just overwhelming, and I was constantly overthinking and I was constantly overanalyzing. And that was a lot. That was a lot. What I've learned with Mercury going direct, what I've learned with just reflecting back on my Saturn return and how far I've come, is that growth takes time, right? And we have to stop comparing ourselves to others. We have to stop comparing ourselves to our friends, our peers, our people who are doing similar things as us, because sometimes comparison can just be this really, really toxic game where we keep thinking like, okay, why can't I be this way? Or why can't I be here right now? I've been putting so much work in. Why is this so slow for me? Right? And that's what Saturn is. Saturn is slow growth. Saturn is consistent but slow. It is stability. It is our boundaries. It is hard work, right? And no matter what, like, even though things can feel easier, even though we can make easier processes and systems and structures because Saturn gives us that tool, it can still be hard work, and that's okay. And that's okay. It's accepting that and just embracing that and making it a good thing and knowing that it will get easier and trusting that it will get easier as well. And for me, I've launched my astrology business last January, and I feel as though I'm in a good state of process. I'm still growing my business. It's still a very small business. It's still in like its early stages, and of course I'm still doing my brand strategy work, and that has been helping me as well. And it's made me reflect on how I'm growing my community, how I can be there for my community, how I can support more people, how I can provide more value to more people, and how can I help more people heal in this process. And that has been difficult for me because I like constantly showing up when you feel like you're in a comparison game. It can be difficult, and it's like, how do you remove yourself from comparison? How do you remove yourself from comparing your story to another person's story? And I think for myself, what has really, really helped me is learning that, like, we don't know what other people's struggles are. We don't know how long it took them to really get to that stage in their life, right? Like, we can ballpark, they could tell us a certain thing. Maybe there's someone who went viral and, you know, we're like, oh, it's like, it's amazing how they did this in like such a short amount of time. But maybe they're struggling with their mental health, or maybe it's like we don't know the full impact of what is going on with someone else. And I think we have to keep that in mind, especially if we get into the trap of the comparison game, because it's important to note how far you've come, right? And I think it's what can really help aid in this process so you don't get stuck into a comparison game is to really look at how far you've come in the last 5 years. And I say 5 years because you want to see how much has changed. 5 years seems like a long time, but in reality, it might not feel like a long time. I would like look at 1 year, look at 5 years, look at where you were before things began, and then you can see how much your life has changed, how, like the people you surround yourself with, and why this is important, right? And I also want to mention that when we think of the comparison game in terms of other people and where we're at, I think it's really, really important to surround yourself with friends who uplift you, who do not put you down, who actually really want to support you and the work you're doing, or are just like, they have good energy, right? They energize you, or they're kind, but you know what I mean? They're just there for you, right? You want consistent and loving friends who support you and who you authentically are. And that's super, super important, right? I have a whole video on how to make friends in your 30s. Go check that video out if you haven't already. I think it's so important. The people you surround yourself with are really going to affect you. So it's important to know which ones do you let go of, which ones do you distance yourself from. If someone's not reaching out to you and you're the only one putting in any effort into that friendship, maybe that friendship is not for you. Maybe that friend is supposed to like slowly slip away from your life, right? Maybe it's a different kind of friend. And that's okay, right? Maybe it's not like a friend you see every week. Maybe it's a friend you see once a year. And that's totally fine. That's totally okay. It's just accepting that everyone is on their own separate journeys. And I think this can be hard for a lot of millennials, a lot of people with Saturn and Aquarius, because I do think Saturn and Aquarius is all about friendships as well. And this is why I brought up the comparison game, even though I was kind of channeling that. I didn't think I was going to talk about, you know, comparison during this, but it makes sense because we're in Libra season right now while I'm filming this, and we just had a full moon in Aries, and that's opposing the sun in Libra. And I think it's important to know that everyone has their own struggles. Everyone has their own journey. And I always want to be open and honest on this platform and just share my biggest struggle, and that is that I feel like I am behind, right? And I know that's not true. And I've been feeling this way since Mercury was retrograde in Virgo, and I was constantly just stuck in my head. I was so afraid to put my work out there. I was so afraid of showing myself that it's possible. Like, I had a good momentum with posting work, posting videos, posting reels, posting TikToks, and that kind of fell away. And I didn't know why I wasn't able to post for a while, even though I knew it was Mercury retrograde. So it's good to know the astrology, but a lot of it was that fear of judgment, that fear that if I post work, my friends would reject me, they would abandon me. And this has been a theme for my life where my friendships are really important to me. Like, my friendships are so, so, so important to me, and I love my friends so much, and I am one of the most blessed people to have such amazing friends, and I really believe that's one of the reasons why I started the Moon Sign Creative Community, and that's why I just wanted to focus on how can I be there for my friends. And that is why I really was afraid of posting for a while, because I was afraid that they would reject me, even though I've had a similar thought and a similar fear in the past, and I was able to stop myself from this, but it stopped me from posting for a while because I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's gonna reject me by posting this. Oh my gosh, what will people think of me? Oh my gosh, like all these things, right? And I think we have to remind ourselves of why we are limiting ourselves, and finding friends who really want to help us be who we authentically are, who help our growth. It's important to find friends who help our growth for sure, and who are interested in the same things, who have growth mindsets. For me, it's accepting that I might lose some friends by posting what I do. I might lose some friends by doing the work I do, and I have to be okay with that. And even if I'm not, it's okay. Like, I can feel my feelings, but it's about reminding myself that my best friends would support me, right? I deserve to have friends who support me in my work, and other people do too, right? Other people deserve to have friends who really, really support them in their work. And that includes you. And I really, really believe that we have to reflect on where are we spending our time and energy? Who are those people? Who are the people closest to us? Who are the 5 people we spend the most time with? Because we are a reflection of that. And do we have to change who those people are? Do we have to change who we surround ourselves with? Do we have to protect our energy in this way, right? And if you are interested in making more friends and just learning more astrology and making some art, you can always come join the Moon Sign Creative Community. The link for that is down below. We'll be happy to have you. It's a very, very supportive space. And I'm so grateful for everyone in that community, because I have some of the best members in my community. Like, everyone is so, so empathetic, so kind, so generous, so uplifting, so curious, and I am so grateful for those people. They're so thoughtful, so we'd love to have you if you're interested. I want to reflect more on this comparison game of what really helped me get through it and why it's normal, right? I think we have to stop beating ourselves up for our thoughts and our patterns, right? We just have to break the pattern. We just have to break the pattern, the cycle of overthinking, of over ruminating. I know as a Cancer moon myself, I ruminate a lot, especially in emotions. For me, it's making sure I stay present, making sure I meditate. I've also been doing EFT tapping a lot. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to share more of what has helped me personally with EFT. I've been doing a bit of it with my community. I did an event with them on it, and they really enjoyed that, so I might do it again soon. But it's it was really, really helpful for me. I have an amazing mentor. You can look her up. She has a lot of amazing EFT videos. Haley Hoffman Smith, she's amazing, so I'd highly recommend her. There's also Brad Yates on YouTube, and he's really, really good too. For me, it's journaling and doing workouts and really, really prioritizing my health has helped me so much, and getting really structured in terms of the work I'm doing and the work I'm producing, and knowing that if I have a good routine, it's going to help me exceed, it's going to help me feel safe, it's going to help me feel better. And now I look forward to my routine. What's really interesting was before my Saturn return, I used to hate having a routine. I used to hate it so much because I felt like, oh, this is restrictive, I can't do what I want, and it made me less productive, and I felt more anxious when I didn't have a routine. But now that I have a routine, it helps me so much in terms of just creating a structure for myself where I feel safe, where I know, hey, this is gonna make me feel better, so this is why I'm doing this, right? And in the morning, I really try to just unload my thoughts and say affirmations to myself. I tend to journal my affirmations, but that's really been helping me personally. And I don't know if you're interested in like a daily routine video. Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious if you want to see my daily routine. I feel like I've gotten into a good flow with it, so that's been nice. I really feel like I'm in a better stage with my Saturn return. I feel as though for me, I won't see the effects, or everyone who does have Saturn in Aquarius in their charts, you won't really see the real benefits of your Saturn return until Saturn goes into Pisces. I really believe that because even though I'm seeing some benefits from it, if I have an early degree Saturn, I'm not seeing the full scope of what I'm actually building for myself because Saturn is still in Aquarius. So I'm still building. I'm still in this building phase. And so are you if you have Saturn in Aquarius. If you don't, that's okay. Don't worry about that. But you can also think about it based on what your Saturn is, right? I have an entire video on Saturn, so you can check that out as well if you're interested in that. Or if you'd like to just explore your birth chart with me one-on-one, you can definitely do that. The link for that is down below. But I am so curious to hear about if you also feel like this past Mercury retrograde has made you stuck in a comparison game. We did have Mercury in Libra retrograde for a while too. So that might also be a reason, of course, the astrology, but I'm curious like what helps you with your process of taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, taking care of your thought process, and letting go of limiting beliefs, right? I really want to focus on that more on this channel, and I'm going to try and figure out how to incorporate videos on that because it's been super helpful for me. And I do want to be really real and honest with you all, which is that I don't know, I just felt like a mess and I wasn't good enough and I wasn't myself like for the last few weeks, and I definitely feel like it was the retrograde, and retrogrades are a time for us to really take time for ourselves, to rest, to reflect, to revise, to edit, and that's what I've been doing for myself. I've been trying to do that for my business. I'm trying to do that for my content and where do I want to put my energy in my content. And I still really want to put more energy into my YouTube videos. So I'm going to do my best to do that as well. Yeah, it's just been this interesting journey of am I spending my time on the right things, right? And Saturn is all about time as well. So I think that's really interesting. But you can sometimes see influencers with huge amount of followings and think that they're not capable of being stuck in a comparison game. But I feel like the comparison game happens to everyone. And I think when we switch the narrative and we see it as, oh my God, this person has qualities I admire, and I also have those qualities too, right? Because we are all mirrors. We are all mirrors, and we can definitely understand that the qualities we admire in someone else are the qualities we actually have within ourselves. And I just want to say this as a fun antidote, but I went on this date with this guy, and this was last week, and we were mirroring each other. And I've done mirroring with other guys before that I've gone on dates with, but this one was like exact mirror in terms of what we've done for ourselves, in terms of writing books and having a community and our businesses and coaching. Even though I don't coach, I do sessions, I do birth chart readings, and I do brand strategy sessions, but you know what I mean. So we both were in this field of entrepreneurship, which I really respected, and we were both wearing leather jackets that were black. So it was just really funny. Is one of my friends was like, it sounds like you just want to date yourself. And I think that's true, right? Like we definitely want to date ourselves in some degree, right? But you have to ask yourself, are you the type of partner you would date as well? Because if you are looking for a romantic partner, or even if you're looking for a friend or a business partner, you have to consider, hey, someone would be lucky to have me as a partner, no matter what kind of partnership that is. It doesn't really matter if it's dating, it doesn't matter if it's business, it doesn't matter if it's a friend. You kind of have to understand partnerships in this way of being the best version of yourself so you can attract more of those people into your life, more people who are similar to you so that you can feel more uplifted, so you can feel more safe to explore growth and be curious and explore being yourself, being authentically yourself, right? I want to say this with a grain of salt too, because I think it's important to always strive for excellence and strive for being the best version of yourself, but also accepting who you are, accepting all your flaws and still loving your flaws and showing love to your flaws in some way. Maybe it's recognizing like those were the flaws that, like, are they actually flaws? Are they just characteristics? Are those things that you want to work on, or can you focus more on your strengths and just accept those parts of yourself that you consider flaws, right? Whatever you consider a flaw. As an example, one of my biggest flaws is I can be very hypercritical and judgmental towards myself. And that's something I'm working on, is more self-love, better talk, and I've been really, really good at it so far. But the criticism, like the criticism or the judgment that I used to have towards myself, I now use it as a way to help me edit and revise and help me really focus on how I can help my clients in the best possible way, but also in the most loving way as well, because you always want to make sure you're speaking to yourself in the most loving way, and the people around you in the most loving way. So I think that's just really important to note. Let me know if this video was interesting. Let me know if this video was helpful. If you are also going through your Saturn return, let me know in the comments how it's going for you, what you're realizing about yourself, what has been happening for you. And if you are stuck in a comparison game as well, what have you been noticing about yourself? Like, what are the realizations that are coming to you from this? And how can you show yourself more love and grace? Let me know if there's any action steps you're planning to take in the comments. And if you're interested in joining an astrology and art-based community, I have the Moon Sign Creative Community where I host new moon and full moon events. They are super fun. We do art rituals and we manifest for the new moon. And it's honestly such an amazing group of people. We'd love to have you. The link for that is down below. And if you're just interested in a one-on-one birth chart reading with me so we can dive deeper into your specific birth chart, the link for that is down below as well. Thank you again for being here. Let me know which video you'd like to see next, and be sure to like this video as well. And I just want to thank you all again for being here and your support. It means the world to me. And I just want to say the universe has your back, and with peace and love, take care.